Hi everybody, it's Ann with Art on the Creek. We're in my home studio in Parker, Colorado, and this is our new friend. This is my new studio buddy. His name is Leo. He is wonderful. Yes, you are, aren't you? He's a little Havanese that we just adopted this weekend, and he's 2 years old. So I wanted to introduce him to you because he's adorable, and we're going to try and paint him today. Are you ready? Let's go. Those of you who have followed me for a while may remember our Shiba Inu, Sasha. She passed away last October. She was 14 and a half, and she lived a wonderful life. We've waited a while, and we decided that our hearts were ready to welcome another little guy into our lives. Look at this little puppy. He is not really a puppy. He's just small. He's 12 pounds. He's 2 years old. His full name is Leonardo DiPuprio. We call him Leo, and he's just the sweetest little guy. We think he's in Havanese. We're not entirely sure. We adopted him from the Denver Dumb Friends League, and for the prompt of soft coming up, I couldn't think of a better prompt to paint than little Leo. So we'll get to that. But for now, let's open up our sketchbook and get everything all set. Now remember, this month I am using the Viviva Colors Travel Art Kit throughout the month for the World Watercolor Month prompts. I will have a coupon underneath the video in the description here down below. I'll have a coupon and an affiliate link. If you click on the affiliate link and purchase your art supplies, whatever you want to get that Viviva sells through that link, you will save 10% on your purchase with that coupon and 10, and that will be there in the description for you to copy and paste. And if you do go through the link to find their website and purchase, I'm going to thank you in advance, because every purchase that you make does give me a small commission, and that helps me to continue to make videos like this for you. And I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you guys are too. I think from the comments that you've been having a fun time watching my channel, and I really appreciate that so much, and I want to keep going. So your contributions to help that growth really do matter, and I appreciate that so much. Well, let's start off here. We'll just jump in, and I will turn this into a speed paint. Our first prompt for this week is immense. That was for July 18th. So the only thing I could think of really was Jack and the Beanstalk, and that is a fairy tale. Originally, it was the story of Jack Spriggins and the Enchanted Bean in 1734. This particular one I got from the reference, rather, I referred to an illustration by Arthur Rackham from the 1918 edition of English Fairy Tales. I love Jack and the Beanstalk. It was always one of my favorites, and I was excited to be able to paint it here. For all of these paintings today, I am using the Viviva Colors Travel Paint Kit. It has turned out to be the most beloved piece of art supply that I have this month, and I guarantee you I'm going to refill it and keep using it until this cover is completely worn out. I thoroughly love using these Viviva Colorsheets. They're fun, they're dyes, they're so rich and so colorful. And I've been able to also fit the watercolor pans in here. These are really nice. They do have lightfastness information, and I will put a link to all of that, or I'll spell it out for you in the description down below. This particular one is for envelope. It is the 19th of July, that prompt, and I remember when I was in high school, I had a pen pal in Ulm, Germany, and I can't remember his name, but we all had pen pals out of French class, and I don't know why I got one in Germany, but probably was better for him than it was for me, because I didn't speak a word of German, but he certainly could practice his English. And we exchanged letters back and forth, and that was the specific paper we had to use. It was kind of this lightweight tissue paper blue kind of a situation. So that was how I decided to do the envelope prompt. And now let's move on. We're going to go ahead and find a clean sheet of paper here, and let's move on to our next prompt, which is going to be olive. Now this one, it's kind of like the eggplant prompt that I did last week, or the week before. No, it was last week. I use a lot of olives in my kitchen, and we're Italian, and we have a lot of painted Italian pottery in our home, in our kitchen, and a lot of it, the motif is olives, so I look at this all of the time. and I didn't feel that I needed a reference photo. But if you ever need a reference photo for something, go ahead and get onto Pixabay or Unsplash. These are sites that have free reference photos for artists. There's also a Facebook page called Free Reference Photos for Artists, and I've even heard of something called Paint My Photo. Not exactly sure if it's a website or a Facebook page. In fact, if one of you knows what that is, go ahead and mention that in the comments, because this is knowledge that we can all use for free reference photos. So at any rate, there are plenty of references for olives on there. So let me speed this one up and we'll go ahead and get this olive painting done. The ink pen that comes with this set is absolutely phenomenal. You can buy them individually, but I really love this. This is by Kuretake. They're one of my favorite companies for ink pens. This is their Mangaka 05. It means it's a 0.5 or, yeah, I think it's a 0.5. It's specifically made for cartoonists and artists of that sort, but I really love it for this particular set because it fits right in that elastic loop, number one, the one that I just slid it into right there. And it also provides you with such bold lines that the ink dries very quickly, and you can make these lines thicker very easily. You can keep them thin if you like. It's so easy to use this ink pen, and you don't have to wait very long for it to dry. You might see in some of these speed paints that I do use a heat tool just to make sure it's dry before I erase something. However, if you do decide to travel with this and you're using this ink pen that comes with this travel kit, you won't have any trouble waiting for it to dry because it is fast. And I love that, and it's completely permanent. So you don't have to worry about doing your wash before or after you're inking, because no matter what water you put over it, it's going to stay put. So you can even just do pen and ink drawings with this paper. The paper in here is the best paper that I've seen in a little travel journal. It's a hot press, and I really, really love it. It's an A6 size. This one also comes in an A5, I think, a little bit different size. But this one, you have 24 leaves, 24 sheets, but you can go on the back, so that gives you 48 pages. It's a 240 GSM, 120 pound premium ivory paper. It's not cotton, although they do have cotton sketchbooks at the Viviva website. So if you use that affiliate link down below and then that coupon, you can go ahead and save 10% on one of their sketchbooks. And I'm hearing that they're really, really nice. And they've also come out with metallic paints. So if that's something that interests you, get in there and get some. They've even got an adult coloring book. There is so much to discover with Viviva Colors. And I know I sound like a commercial, but I really think they're just an awesome little company. And frankly, they are a small business, and I really am honored to be able to feature them. I'm glad they reached out to me. And you know, full disclosure, as I've said before, anything that you purchase through that link below, I will earn a small commission from it. But I'm very happy to help support Viviva Colors and share them with you guys, because I really think they're good products. I think for traveling, they're very compact. It's very succinct. Everything you need is right here. The only thing you might want to add to this is a pencil and an eraser, and you could put those anywhere. When this is all closed up, you can fit their watercolor pans and the color sheets right in that flap on the left when you got it open. Here in this picture where I'm drawing now, it would be below it. But the pocket is big enough that you can fit both of those things in there, and you won't have any trouble. Everything you need is right there. The water brush is decent. It's really nice, and it's easy to use. I tried to use it as much as possible in these speed paints for you here so that you can see how it works. There are times when I went to a conventional brush, but for a water brush, it's very nice, and you can even do a lot of wet on wet techniques with these, and you won't be disappointed at all. Okay, moving on to World Watercolor Month. Let's speed this puppy up. This one is risky. How many of you have gone whitewater rafting? Both my husband and I have been whitewater rafting. He did it in Colorado when we were in college. I think he may have even done it when he was younger with his family, but I remember one spring break in college, he did that on the Arkansas River. And my turn to whitewater raft was actually in Alaska, and frankly, it was terrifying. I don't know if I will ever do it again, but I really like this picture. It brought back those fun memories of going whitewater rafting, and boy, what a thrill. And it is risky. You do have a lot of safety lessons that you have to go through, and especially this year, just, we've got a lot of water running in those creeks and streams in the high country, and it really is kind of treacherous up there. So that is a risky behavior. For our next prompt of Fragment, I thought thought of fragmented glass, and I really like the way that this reference photo looked with that kind of a smoked glass that has the green edges on the side when you look at it. So that is the prompt for Fragment. Here we have Local. This is one of our signature iconic Parker street lamps. I did this video in full length. This one I used awhile watercolors. I aired that video last Saturday, so I'll put a little card up here in the corner so that you can link to see that process if you like. And that was the view from where I was sitting at our public library. You just don't need a whole lot of inspiration, nothing fancy. You can just paint the street, the urban view right out your window. Now, without further ado, look at this sweet little boy. His name, like I told you, is Leo. We call him Leo DiPuprio. And that's not because we're Leonardo DiCaprio fans per se. It's just because we really like puns. And he's so cute and so cheerful. And we know that he loves to laugh. So we are just thrilled that he has entered our lives and taken over our hearts. And today, this is the photo that I took of him. So this is the one of Mr. Smiley Face here that we are going to paint today for our prompt of Soft today, July 24th. You know, all my life growing up, we've always had what are called gun dogs or bird dogs, dogs that are bred for hunting and retrieving. And first two dogs we had were English Springer Spaniels. And the next dog we had was a Lab mix. Then we had a Labrador Retriever, and then we had Sasha, our Shiba, and I never thought I would have a small dog. Sasha was the first. She was such a personality. There are so many Shibas for you to follow online, and oh my gosh, if you want to laugh, I recommend finding a Shiba. They're really a unique personality, but let me tell you about little Leo. I did not think we would ever go for a dog this small. I mean, isn't that the way when you feel like you're done, you don't want any more dogs, and then, you realize, gosh, it's really quiet with no tags jingling. I don't have those little stretchy noises and snores going on under my desk. I don't have anybody to pet when I'm watching TV. It's just me. And when I'm walking outside, I don't know where to put my hands because I'm always holding a leash. So it was time. And little Leo here just lit up our lives when we saw his photo online. And then we went down to the shelter right when they opened. And we met him and took him for a little walk outside. And we must have spent about an hour with him. And then we said yes. So it's kind of one of those things where I kind of am still trying to process that we actually did this because he's just the best ever. And he's housebroken. He came to us very well trained. I guess his little story is that on July 6th, someone brought him into the shelter. And of course, on July 4th, we have our Independence Day holiday here in the United States. So many, many dogs are very, very scared and upset with the fireworks. So I am assuming that he got out and ran away. And brought him to the shelter. So the shelter scans him for a microchip. It's a way to identify animals. I don't know if they have that globally, but it's here in the United States. They recommend getting your animal chipped, they call it. And he did have a microchip. So the shelter is required by law to reach out to that owner. And the owner said, I don't want him back. I'm tired of chasing after him. So he's in a much better place now. And I am thrilled that his struggle, think of that, if I'm right, he survived 2 days out on the wild on his cuteness alone. And, that's a pretty good survival tactic because he is certainly adorable. But, I'm amazed, and I hope he wasn't traumatized. It certainly doesn't seem like he was. He has just nothing but grateful to be with us. And already he knows his name. We do know what his original name was, and this Leo doesn't even sound anything like it. So I was worried that he wouldn't be able to pick up on that new sound, but he picked up on it very quickly. He's housebroken, like I told you, loves to walk, loves to fetch, loves to cuddle, and his number one thing is he wants to be with his people. So it's just really a match made in heaven. But enough about Leo. I am using the Viviva watercolor pans, and I love this little set. This is the summer set. They don't call them pans, I guess they just call it a watercolor set. It is in this really unique little palette. Do you see the paint pans there are sitting in a cork? So that makes it really, really convenient because if it gets wet, it's going to be okay. It's not going to dissolve or cause you any problems. The palette that I'm using to mix colors on is actually kind of a coated paper. It's like a kind of a, I don't know if it's plastic or whatever it is, but it's a paper that's very thick, and it has a nice coating on it so that you can mix your paints. And then when you're done, you just take a wet paper towel or a wet rag and just wipe it right off, and it comes clean so that you can use it again. These paints are made by Superior, and they do have lightfastness ratings. They range from absolutely permanent of 3 stars to moderately permanent of 2 stars. And the set I have is the spring set. There's also another set, I believe. You'll find that out when you go through the link to look. If you just look for their watercolor pans, then, or excuse me, the watercolor sets, then you'll be able to see what all they have in line. But this is the spring set. So these are really bright, vibrant colors. And I really think that it's a neat asset to have for World Watercolor Month. Now, this is obviously a travel set that I'm using, and I'm not traveling anywhere. But that's the thing. You can put this thing in the pocket of your car door, in your backpack, in your purse. You can just carry it like a day planner. It's about 5 by 7, maybe 6 by 8. It's not that big, and it fits in your hand very comfortably. You can just really go anywhere with this thing and just be completely prepared, even if you're just traveling to your kitchen table or your back patio or your kitchen counter. It doesn't take up any room at all. You can just paint. Well, maybe let's say you have small children and you need to carve out some time for yourself to have some art time. Well, you know, set them up with what their favorite game is, or have them read some books, or set up a movie, have them watch their favorite movie, and then you can sit right there in the room with them and go ahead and get some painting done. And you know, it's not hard to carve out little moments in your day as long as you plan for it. I always felt like when I was a new mom, and this was many years ago. Our oldest son is 35 now, but when I was a new mom and I had 2 very small children, less than a year apart, I strove to carve out time so that I could still be me, because I knew that if I could still be the Anne that I was before I had kids, that I would be the best mom that I could be, because I still had needs. Not because, you know, I love being a mom. That was the greatest gift I ever had in my life, my marriage and my children. And I am so thrilled to be able to say I have 3 children and I have 3 grandchildren, and I couldn't ask for anything more. And with my wonderful husband, we've got a beautiful family. Those are the things that I'm most grateful for. But through all of that, the thing that has kept me happy and able to do those things is because I have allowed myself time to do things that I want to do. So for me, this has carved out a career and a passion. But for you, if it's something that's just a hobby, or even if it is something that's a career, remember to have balance in your life. Remember to have time for yourself. And this is one way to do it. So this is my summary of World Watercolor Month for this time, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that you are hanging in there, because we only have a few left. We've only got the 25th through the 31st, so let's do it. Let's get on this. Use that affiliate link, get some shopping done, get yourself some really fun, unique art supplies from Viviva Colors, and use that coupon to save 10%. And I will see you next week with the next and final summary of World Watercolor Month. Take care, everybody. Bye now.